and welcome to the Pole Shift News. In honesty guys, as you know, I don't script these videos. I just think that the more you do that, the more phony, if you like, it becomes. I'm doing this really because of my passion in science, and really out of my heart, because I do genuinely care about what's taking place on our planet, and if I can encourage other people to just see what's going on and take that on board, then I'm happy with that. I suppose I should say, like I do always at the beginning of the videos, big thanks to those few people that are supporting us. We've got 21,000 subscribers. It's a huge amount of subscribers, and yet it's only a few people that really do carry the cart for us on this channel with the level of support that they give. So at the end of the day guys, it is as simple as this. If you can't be bothered to go out there yourselves and bring the awareness of big events to people yourselves, then the least you could do is just support somebody that's prepared to do that. And I do that. It's a proactive approach we've got on this channel. We don't just talk about it, we've gone way beyond that. We're actually building equipment, and we have built already equipment that monitors these anomalies that are taking place, that are affecting our lives on this planet. So getting to the point of what we're looking at, no sooner the sunspots were there, they've gone. And if we look at the solar cycle, because there's a lot of chatter on YouTube with regards to these matters, but they never really, in my view, point out what's really taking place. And I think that this chart does do that very clearly. We are looking at the last 33 years of the last 3 solar cycles, and you can see for yourselves that they are bottoming out. If the trend continues, solar cycle 25 won't begin, and if it does, it will be in small numbers of sunspots. Yet out there, coming from these big organisations, despite what we see in front of us right now, they are saying that solar cycle 25 will be bigger than 24. Can you believe that? I don't see it that way, guys. I see the way it is in front of us right now. These solar cycles are getting smaller and smaller, and solar cycle 24 is unique because it has been a short solar cycle. Not only has it been low in numbers, but it's also been a short cycle. And there's no reason to say that there is any indication with what we're looking at that will produce a greater solar cycle. There's nothing there. You can see the same as what I can. So what they're talking about, if they've got facts that I haven't got, then I can't see how they're coming up with these predictions that solar cycle 25 will be better than solar cycle 24. If you ask me, solar cycle 25 is going to be a flop, a bigger flop than 24, 23 and 22. And for the reasons that you can see yourselves. Without a doubt, and I think it's common sense in any case, that solar activity does drive climate on the Earth. We're looking at the last 11,000 years of sunspots, and you can see that just around the last ice age it peaked and got warmer. This is the region that brought us out the last ice age or glacial period. Let's make a note of that. It was the glacial period that we came out of around 11,000 years ago. And from that point on, it bottomed out around about 6,000 BC, started to pick up around about 4,000 BC, peaked again a little bit around 2,000 BC. But if you compare 2000 BC with 10,000 BC, you can see that the numbers are half again, and then declined to the present day where we are right now. And when we're looking at the sunspot cycles, we can see that we're witnessing the same things on a smaller scale of time. And there's no reason for us to believe that, you know, solar cycle 25 is going to be a better solar cycle than 24, given the fact that even over the time period of solar cycle 24, it was a lot shorter. It's around about 9 years. Some people are saying, you know, we've got to wait a few years before, you know, we're at the trough and start to pick up on, you know, the numbers. I just don't think the numbers are going to form. If we look at the sunspots and how long they last, you know, they used to last longer than at least what we're seeing today. The other day, there was sufficient sunspots. You know, some of these sunspots were bigger than the size of the Earth on the sun, and they've cleared out. You know, they don't last long. They're very few and far between these days, and you know, it is just you know, rebutting the fact that what we see on this chart is taking place. So it's down to you guys. You know, you're adults. You know what to expect, and it's just down to you guys what information you choose to accept with regards to what to expect. We're not usually wrong on this channel with regards to what we predict, and you know, we are going against the organisations such as NASA, the ESA and NOAA, and a lot of other YouTube channels by saying, you know, solar cycle 25 is not going to be anything bigger than 24 in numbers. There's no reason to suggest that. You know, we can see what's happened over the last 3 solar cycles. They're going to bottom out, and I predict that will be the case for solar cycle 25 based on what I see, and I think you guys, probably some of you, would agree with that. I don't think we'll be doing what we are right now in 10 years time. I don't even think it will take 10 years time to get to that level where we won't be living this life that we're living right now, guys, on this planet. We're right here on the verge of a cataclysmic event taking place. And if you look at what's going on with the grand solar minimum right now, and you know, the emerging interglacial period, and the you know, reversing of the magnetic poles on this planet, you know, each and every one of those things spell the same thing for us, and it affects us in the same way in pretty much, you know, every respect. You know, we're going to expect to see grid down failures as a result of, you know, sub-zero temperatures, crippling power lines. We're going to see food production becoming more scarce. You know, our history shows us what happens when, you know, all of a sudden there is a region where it's good for production of food. You know, human beings thrive, but when the reverse of that happens, you know, the food production becomes less, the weather doesn't favour the crops growing, you know, civilization shrinks, and before that, upheaval takes place. You know, we're so heavily dependent on technology, and really it's the technology that's at threat here with regards to all these anomalies that are taking place. They all spell the same thing: grid down. So, you know, it'd probably be a good idea for a few people now to start looking at some of those documentaries even our own governments put out with regards to those events taking place. So in a nutshell, guys, going on what we've saw, in my view, I wouldn't be too much interested in the last 3 solar cycles, although they do tell us a lot of information. You know, we can see that the exponential line is disappearing off into the zeros. The numbers of sunspots are going to be fading out. More importantly, I think we should concentrate on the grander scheme. Let's look at the last 11,000 years since the last glacial period. We're definitely on track for that, and only at this point in time we're starting to realise that sunspots could be a relationship to, you know, the cause of glacial periods. Shouldn't come to some great surprise at the end of the day, because, you know, solar activity drives climate on this Earth. I think, guys, if you sat in front of me tonight in my home and we was having this discussion and you asked me what is the best policy and the best plan that you could take out, I would say make sure that you are as self-sufficient as possible, because our governments aren't going to come to our help. We've already witnessed, you know, catastrophes recently around this world where there has been a lack of, you know, serious support. And at the end of the day, you know, we lose everything, don't we? Every time, guys, it's us individuals that lose things, and we're never reimbursed properly for them things that we've lost. Yet it seems that some organisation somewhere knew that there was about to happen, and the alarm bells could have been rang, but there never was. But, you know, who benefits from these disasters and catastrophes? Do I need to say that? I think, you know, all I want to say, guys, to you is that, you know, we are at the door of something very big happening. You know, these anomalies that we're monitoring on this channel and at the observatory are big anomalies, and there isn't much time left. There really isn't. You know, I hope you know that, and you're not just relying on the fact that I'm telling you this. You know, this anomalies are serious events, and they're taking place. You know, when aircraft and the pilots boast complacently about the fact that they've just flown from one region to the other in a jet stream that has allowed the aircraft to exceed its speed limits. And, you know, even I have witnessed this recently. I was in an aircraft going to Lithuania, and it reached its destination in a very short period of time, you know, 30 minutes before it was supposed to. And I showed you the jet stream in the last video that we was in. And then on the way back, we was obviously fighting that headwind. It took nearly 3 hours to do the same journey back, as opposed to the 2 that it took us to get there. It's testimony to itself, guys. So, you know, anyhow, you know, I've got this little app on my phone now. Anything that gets donated on PayPal, you know, I get this little ding noise, and, you know, it's interesting to see what has been donated to the observatory. So, you know, if you want to you know, give me palpitations later on, you know, just donate something on the PayPal account, or, you know, become a patron of what we do here. You know, we're looking for support, guys. You know, what we've offered are people that support us is a massive thing. You know, you can't ask NASA to send a message out into space for you guys, you know, but we're prepared to do that on this channel, and we've got the capabilities to do it. And you know, all we need is just regular support. That's it, in a nutshell. You know, guys, I hope I've got a little message out there to you guys tonight. I'll say what I usually do. Take care, and as always, bye for now.